so kicking things off, we're going to be talking about T90 pellets, which are a type of hop products that look kind of like rabbit food here. And they are a method that was developed in order to improve brewer yields and efficiencies, and a lot of issues which come from using whole leaf hops. So when you get a hop off the vine, that hop flower, you have to take it to a picking machine, which strips the hop flowers from the vines and hopefully sorts through some of the vegetal material, the twigs and the leaves that come along with the hops a lot of the time. And once they've been sorted, they're shipped over to a kiln, which dries those hops in order so that they can be stored and used over the course of the year. And if you don't do that, then you get wet vegetal hops that go bad very quickly. At that point, once they've been dried, that's what we would consider whole leaf hops. But the problem with whole leaf hops is numerous in that, one, they take up a lot of space. They absorb a lot of liquid, and if you are to store them, then there's a lot of air pockets that can get into this whole leaf hop when you try and package it. And that air has oxygen, which creates oxidation off flavors within the hop, like cheesy aromas and just general degradation. You can see here, this is a hop flower which was harvested last fall, but now we're in March, and this has been left out, and it's gotten brown and crusty, and it doesn't smell great. So when you look to rectify that issue, T90s are a way to do that. And the way that they do the T90 is they take this hop flower and they bash it up in a mill. They reduce it to a very fine powder, which then they compress and push through a pellet die, and you're left with this T90 pellet. They're called T90s because that is effectively 90% of your total weight of the whole hop, with that 10% that's going down the drain being predominantly vegetal matter that you wouldn't want anyway. So generally, T90s are a little bit more efficient. They're certainly smaller packages, and they aren't as liable to oxidation because they're compressed like this and there's not as much surface area. They're better for storage, better for shipment, and then when you use them in the brew house, they can be used either hot side or cold side, just like a whole leaf hop. And once they hit the liquid, they disperse in there. You have better surface area and better utilization when you're isomerizing these alpha acids for bitterness. So they can be used either hot side or cold side, and they've become fairly ubiquitous within the brewing industry because of the efficiency and aromatic gains that you get by using T90s as opposed to whole leaf hops. So now we're going to be talking about T45 hop pellets, which are almost identical, very similar to the T90 hop pellets. The only real difference being that instead of removing 10% of your total weight, you're removing about 55%, bringing it down to 45% of what you put in. So T45's a little bit more labor, a little bit more intensive to process, and a little bit more costly to do so. And typically they're a little bit more expensive. But they are much more aromatically pungent because of the enhanced lupulin that you have in those products. And on top of that, you're getting better yields out because you aren't losing as much of your beer to absorption. So they'll function very similar to a T90. You can put them in hot side or cold side, and it's just a matter of brewer's preference really as to whether they want to use a T90 or T45.